There is no lesson today, but I have put up two pieces of art for those of you in YouTube and for those of you in Instagram. The pieces are within my Facebook posting, or you can Google them. The first is Caravaggio, and that is C as in Charlie, A-R-A, V as in Victor, A, G as in George, G as in George, I-O, Caravaggio. The first piece is Conversion on the Road to Damascus, and the other is Conversion of St. Paul. If you pull up one, you'll pull up the other at the same time. For the conversion of Paul, otherwise known as Saul of Tarsus, I'm providing these two Caravaggio pieces: the Conversion on the Road to Damascus, the piece with the prominent horse's derriere, or as we say, the Wisconsin, which is a small Midwest U.S. humor, the derriere, ha ha ha. And the latter piece, the Conversion of St. Paul, which has a horse, but only in the distant background. Caravaggio was the first to use darkness and only the impression of a single stark source of light in his work. All the other painters of that time used light and very little darkness, and they used movement. But Caravaggio uses darkness, and this is called tenebrism. T-E-N-E, B as in boy, R-I-S-M as in Mary. The height and the distance, the horse dancing and the angel coming to soul, is all conveyed solely by the ingenious use of the light, because Caravaggio eschewed any but the slightest movements. This way, he rendered the scene unclear, mysterious, and therefore curious, momente, without movement. Caravaggio's style of tenebrism, where forms in paintings emerge from a dark background, with usually one source of stark light, created dramatic effects with its strong contrasts. This lighting evoked great spiritual drama in many of his works. As with some, the light source is the body or person of Christ. In the examples here, you can see in both cases the light is coming from or to soul. In Conversion of St. Paul, no horse, the brighter areas are juxtaposed with the heavy dark patches, especially deep beneath the horse's belly, and extending into impenetrable darkness that extends outside and beyond the circular grouping of the three figures. The usual landscape background is removed entirely, so as to concentrate the viewer, the observer, on the figures and their actions. The strong light and the enveloping darkness makes your focus even more intense. The unusual placement of the characters also seems to convey the intensity of the moment. Although Saul gets the most light, the intention is given to him in a very strange way in Damascus, the one with the horse. Lying on the ground, Saul is much smaller than the horse, almost a 4-to-1 ratio, which is also at the center of the painting. Paul's body is foreshortened and is not facing the viewer at all. Yet, his presence is most powerful because of his body is pushing into your space. His body is the light. The position of the horse, and especially its front leg, hanging in the air, creates great visual tension. What is interesting is the first compositional draft, revealed by an X-ray examination, was a traditional composition with a visible source of divine radiance coming from the lift, not from so. Please note, I use Caravaggio whenever there is an opportunity to use visual imagery in place of or to support a well-known biblical story. I use it greatly at Easter, and especially Good Friday.